Okay.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay. So, I don't know. What do you want to talk about today? Oh, wait. Sorry.
Okay.
I kept the one from last week. I think that's
bro,
better. I think that fits us better.
I'm talking to you guys right now. Wherever my main camera is.
It's that one.
I have a $100 bounty for whoever can come to Paoli, Pennsylvania, and confiscate that contraption because it needs to stop.
So the problem with confiscating this contraption is that this is also the contraption that is recording our isolated vocal tracks. But if you have a problem with it, I can do this. What did you do? Keep talking. What do you have to say about yourself, motherfucker? I am in command here. I have my bridge control over here.
This guy.
Yeah.
Hey, boomers in the wild. Don't forget I mentioned that.
We're recording here. We're recording here. I got to tell you guys, ever since that one episode where we talked for like 25 minutes and I had forgotten to press record on
remind me.
On the camera, I think, he has been a even bigger pain in my ass every day. So
hey, the content was good. It was juicy. And then this guy, fucking 65 years old, forgot to press record. So.
I'm 53, okay?
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, hey, cheers, buddy.
Oh, cheers, man.
We did discuss bringing back the cocktail of the week.
Finally. Last week you had me sober, bro.
I know. I told you I can't
didn't
trust
like
you.
that.
So this week's cocktail is actually inspired by our guest that we have today. And when I say inspired by, I mean that she left this bottle of kombucha in my refrigerator since our last holiday party. So we thought
and it's funny because I don't even like kombucha. But the way you mixed it with the whiskey, it's a good mix.
So we did the thing we were supposed to do. I said, can we mix kombucha with liquor? And everyone was like, yeah. But I'm like, what do we mix it with? So I asked Siri, and Siri told me, oh, look, there she is. Hi, never mind. Okay. I asked her, and she was like, something sour, and then recommended whiskey, which I don't.
Well, I guess our stomachs will tell us in about a few hours, so we'll find out.
Or we'll just be burping a lot, but hey, cheers. I also did, which was in a recording that I didn't end up using, just and you know what, I'm going to do another one just because I feel like
what are you doing,
the
bro?
people need to see this.
Do the people need to see it?
So we have been neglecting.
Oh, God, here we go.
Neglecting
Here we go.
what this podcast was based on, which is talking shit. And
Back to the shenanigans.
I have been way too politically correct.
I wouldn't say that.
And I think it is all due to the fact that I am not drinking enough on the show.
So you need liquid courage to talk shit.
No, I think I need the gatekeeper of my shit talking,
which is alcohol,
to be drunk, so he can't gatekeep. So, by the way, if you guys don't drink Four Roses bourbon, what are you doing? They have a small batch. It's small batch, I think it's called, which is like one of my favorite bourbons. Are you a big bourbon guy?
Yeah.
You like Scotch?
Yeah.
Because we have that the Macallan.
Yeah.
It's over there. I'm not going to chug out of the Macallan.
Or what are you
bottle.
about to do right now?
I'm going to do a shot, but we don't have shot glasses, so.
Yeah. Close that. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Did you?
Don't do it, bro.
Where did you go to undergrad?
Don't do it.
Where'd you go to
I went
undergrad?
to a big party school.
Which school?
Westchester University. Bro, Westchester can go, like, they throw down, bro.
I know. I
Trust me.
I'm just talking shit because I went to Penn State.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can't compare to Penn State.
So we are. Here we go.
This guy is crazy. All right. That's enough. Jesus Christ.
It's only...
We're not keeping this in.
I'm totally keeping this in. Anyway, we have a guest today.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, what'd you do this week?
If you guys didn't know already, prior to being a wedding photographer and a podcast host, I actually was a scientist, and I also did a lot of consulting on the side. So to keep my skills fresh, your boy likes to once a month go and audit, certain companies for compliance. Whether this might not make sense to any of you, but whether it's for GLPs or GMPs or GCPs, which is
GLP-1s?
Not GLP-1, okay. But like good clinical laboratories that do preclinical work, and then also laboratories that manufacture drugs for market. So yeah, that's what I do on the side, and I did that last week. It was a lot of fun. And then
where did you? I'm sorry if you said this. Where did you end up going?
So I went to Reno, Nevada.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is my second time. So yeah, have you ever been to Reno?
Reno, no.
Reno 911?
Vegas a couple times.
Okay.
And every time I've been there, I've ended up there. 2 days is the maximum amount of time
In
that
Vegas?
anyone should spend in Vegas.
2 days.
2 days.
Okay. So not like Friday to Sunday.
No,
That's too much.
it's too much. Friday night to Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You're pushing it.
But I was there for a trade show a couple years ago when I was doing like watch photography, like product stuff. And I don't know how I survived. Went there for spring break one year in college. Why did we go there? Like, that was stupid. But anyway.
No,
Yes.
just 2 days max. Okay,
2
that's
days.
good to know. I've never
Yeah.
been to Vegas, so
Yeah,
okay. Well, like you mentioned, today is a fun episode.
it is. I'm excited for this one.
We have a special guest, someone that we're both friends with, someone that I honestly look up to. I've known her now for close to like 8 years or so, and she's someone that kind of helped me in my journey into wedding photography.
She's also unofficially my therapist.
Unofficially,
I don't know why. Like
your Jewish mother, right?
Right. Well, yeah. I call her my bubby.
My bubby.
But
Wasn't it babushka? My babushka? What is that?
that's like a Russian.
Is that
kind of
Russian?
thing.
Oh,
I don't know if I would go Jewish with that, but like,
Oh, okay.
yeah. But she acts like a Jewish grandmother. She's always
Okay.
cleaning up. She's always feeding me. She brought us she said I'm bringing snacks, and she brought us a meal.
it's funny because she's both young. She's younger than both of us.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. she's got the vibes, man. But
Yeah.
yeah. But so like, whenever I have like, I'm stressed out about like something with a client or something like that, I'll call her and be like, hey, what would you do in this situation? And then
Yeah.
we end up talking like for
Forever.
long. Yeah. Which is good for podcasting, I think.
So
Why
yeah,
don't you
without
introduce
further
her?
ado, ladies and gentlemen, Haley Richter. Hey. Hi, Haley.
That was very convincing that we just like magically cut to that.
Hi, Haley.
Hi.
How's it going?
Thanks for having me.
She
Thanks
just
for
put on her
coming.
podcast voice. That was so cute.
It's my Paris Hilton voice.
I know.
Before you came, Simon introduced you as his Jewish mother.
No, I said my bubby.
Oh, you're bubby.
What an honor.
We were talking about before you got up here, like how we met, and I really don't remember how we met.
I
I think it was through Alex or in some way,
it
shape,
must
or
have
form.
been through Alex.
At a wedding or something?
No. Like we
networking or-
became friends with Alex like randomly at a Modern Lux event, and
Oh, okay.
then I guess we just met you through that.
So you knew Alex before Haley,
I think so.
and let the people know who's Alex.
Alex Schoen,
Alex
Okay.
Schoen.
who is on like mega baby watch right now. So when this comes out, if you're gonna be a dad, bro.
It's so funny
Probably.
when I DM'd him and you in that group chat.
Oh yeah.
He was like, "My wife would
My
absolutely
39
murder me."
week.
Right.
So I told him, I finally convinced Alex to get a Leica. And when I say finally convinced, I mean like
Yeah.
telling him stop beating around the bush and just get one for the last like 5 years. And he bought himself a push present.
A very expensive push present.
And I told
I
Aunt
wonder what
that
Caroline's getting.
Right.
Something good.
she already got the Mustang for the wedding, right?
Ooh.
Yeah,
That was a nice car. I saw
But
that.
yeah, it was a
That
nice
is.
car he bought himself for her. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to be talking trash about people
Yeah,
who are
yeah,
here to
yeah,
defend
yeah.
themselves. Alex, I love you.
Anyway,
I'm
Haley,
Caroline. Yeah.
tell us about yourself. Where are you from? Who are you? What do you do? Tell us everything.
Yeah. Okay. Where do we start? I feel like I do need to, just say, so I am from Philadelphia. I am from here. I literally have not gone anywhere. Like this is where the Italian relatives, the Jewish relatives, they all immigrated right to Philadelphia, specifically West Philadelphia. There was a time in South Philadelphia for a second.
Nice.
When the Russian Jews came over, they like hung around there.
Yeah,
around, like,
that's my
yeah.
side.
And so we came to Philadelphia and just like did not leave. And I do feel such a connection to Philadelphia, like as a Philadelphian. And I think it is so special that this city is so wonderful and that I get to stay here and get to have so many opportunities here. So that is like where I am from.
Okay.
What about photography?
Photography.
Where did you?
I remember I remember being a child, like not even in grade school. And I told,
Wait, you know what's funny? Sorry to interrupt, but you know Nick and Tony.
yeah,
He was, what did he say, bro? He was like, it was a sunny day on a Tuesday afternoon. I was 7 years old.
Yeah, he's like, and
And
I
I
knew I
knew.
was going to be a professional
I think
photographer.
7 is an age too. Like for me, where I not a photographer, but an artist.
Okay.
I loved creating and draw, specifically like drawing and like art. And I feel like that is like, you know, kids just will like fall into that.
Sure.
But like I felt like a very like, this is what I'm going to do. Like when I grow up, I will be an artist.
Okay.
And so like I would take all the art classes and all the art stuff. And that was like, sports were like kind of not my thing. Like my mom was like, just try them.
Yeah,
and it was
same.
like, it was like, no.
What sports did you try to play?
Everything, soccer, even like music, violin, piano. And I think that was great that my mom gave me all those opportunities. Magda and I were talking about dance. That was like one thing that also stuck with me.
Oh, nice.
So ballet. And I think now as a photographer, that background is so helpful as well. But I would always go through like, I always just loved the art classes, and it could be anything, ceramics, painting, sculpture, like all of that like really excited me.
Yeah.
And I did like AP art in high school, and I was in the art club and like anything art, stage crew, like I did all that.
Didn't that feel like cheating when you get to take like something you love to do for AP? Like I had AP band.
AP band?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I
What does that mean?
So like my concert band, I took for AP credit.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild, right?
That is wild.
Yeah.
But you didn't go to college, so it didn't matter.
Yeah. Fuck college.
Yeah, fuck.
You didn't go?
We're joking.
Where did you go?
Penn State.
That's, I mean,
You
like,
you
I went
missed your whole intro. You missed me chugging out
Oh,
of the
yeah.
bottle. You
Oh my
missed all
gosh.
of this. So
So I went to Temple. So like, I feel like Penn State and Temple were all just like high school plus, you know, like it
Yeah.
was just like an extension of high school. Cause like all your friends went there. And like same with like, cause I did go to Temple for art school. I went to Tyler School of Art. And I did all of the things. Like I did dance classes. I did, they take you through like a primary curriculum where you have to try everything.
Sure.
So here I am just trying everything, which may be like not the best thing, but I ended up falling into photography and being like, I'm going to do this.
So in retrospect, if someone's like, hey, I want to go to college for photography, would you be like, talk them out of it? Or would you be like, no, like pursue that because it'll help?
You don't need, I'm looking at some camera. You don't need to go.
that one, the one that's like,
That's your camera.
which one? Yeah.
You don't need to go get a photography degree to be a wedding photographer. However, I will say having an art school background, and I was just talking to Ayana from A Floral about this. She has a master's in fine art from PAFA, because we were talking about
Oh, that's
all
cool.
that. And how important it was to go through an art school like career before going into a wedding career, because it's not easy. Like everyone's like, oh, it's an easy option. You're just making art. You're doing what you love. But the amount of things you have to create is just so stupid. Like it's like, it's so much stuff. And like,
And I don't imagine that all of the assignments you had to do were ones you were like, every single one you were like, this is awesome.
no, it
Yeah.
was just like, I do not want to draw a fruit bowl again. Like I don't want to do that. And then like, I feel like art school, there's also like so much like people like not knowing what to make and like kind of going like, you're also like at that time, like so many art kids just like do drugs and are drinking for the first time. And like, they're just like, I'm going to make art that's like out there. And
Yeah.
like, it's just so like,
I mean, that sounds fine with me, but
What did you just say?
it sounds fun.
nothing, we're fine. Yeah.
There's a
That's
lot.
still what I do. It's okay.
I think it's okay to like also, okay, backtrack.
She's like, drugs are fine. Just,
Yeah,
do
just
your work.
moderation. Everything in moderation. That's
Everything
like
in
everything in
moderation.
moderation. You have to like rein yourself back in.
Yeah.
And I think you also have to know like when it's serving or not serving you, or like, you know, all that stuff.
It's one fun thing about being a creative is that like people don't go like, don't do drugs. They're just like, just take it easy.
Yeah.
One step at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't do drugs, kids.
But like having that, like creating art was just it was like
Yeah.
weird creating art. But then like I fell into photography, and I remember so specifically being like, what can I do with a photography career? And I remember someone I went to high school with, I think ran into each other on the train, and he was like, so you're going to shoot weddings, right?
Someone on the train.
Yeah, like he
Yeah.
was someone I went to high school with,
Oh,
and
okay.
ran. Like he was also
Oh,
a Temple
okay,
student,
okay.
not an art student or anything. Like just kind of like he was just someone who knew me from high school, was
Yeah.
going also because like 34,000 kids were like at Temple when I was there, so it was like huge. I'm also really proud I just got that number right, because
Nice.
I have number dyslexia where I mix up the zeros.
Oh, really?
So like
That must be
Oh.
great for writing contracts.
so sometimes when I talk to my husband, like if I was like, there's only 3,400 and or like I'll use the wrong and his eyes go really
What?
wide. It's like the numbers. But I was like,
That's what that I'm going to use that excuse next time I tell Magda how much something I bought costs.
ooh, the side eye.
Don't look at her. She's not over there. She's not on set.
I think
right
she'll
now.
fall for it.
Yeah,
Nah,
I think
she
so too. She's behind me, isn't she?
So yeah, 34,000 kids went. So he was like in a totally different program. You know,
Okay.
like they have so many different schools there at Temple. But I was like, no, that's so stupid. Like, like being like a 21-year-old kid, being like, love, like,
Right.
you know, like I would never, because like I was like, me and you connected over this, like being a punk kid, like
Deep right. Being
yeah.
like scene kid back in the day.
yeah, like
It's like I
going
would-
to shows and like
Especially that time,
Yeah.
it was like early 2000s wedding photographer had like this connotation of just like, oh,
Old white man.
Well, no, it's like you lost
Like,
the game.
yeah.
This
Like,
was-
oh, you had to do weddings,
yes,
you lost.
yeah,
Right?
and
You
this
know?
was like. At that time too, I feel like, okay, like wedding photography was like sepia tone.
And what year was this?
I graduated 2012.
2012. Okay.
So
Wait, because were you working at Whole Foods yet? I know you
I
told me
was
this already.
I started working at Whole Foods in college.
Yeah.
And college is also where I feel like I gained work ethic from like seeing my parents my dad and my mom had set up their own business. My grandfather worked so hard in the
Right.
cement business. So like we very much like came from like a lot of like, and even like my great grandparents, I learned he worked for Wanamaker's, but I guess he had like his own company, like
R.I.P. Macy's.
printing the bags for Wanamaker's.
Really?
This is my great grandfather. This was during the Depression.
Oh, wow.
And we have like I inherited like all this like crazy furniture. I don't know if, and it was all because they couldn't pay him money. So they were like, here's a beautiful dining room table.
Oh.
So like we have these like really crazy pieces of furniture that are just
Yeah.
in my family, but they were like, we can't pay you.
It's funny too because you're talking about working at like Whole Foods, and Magda and I both worked at Apple.
Yeah.
And I was talking to a couple people, and we'll get into the event that we were both at in
Yeah.
a few minutes. But I was talking to a couple people, and someone that we found that Magda actually used to work with at Apple, and
She was
everyone
she was at the event?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
He
Okay.
but also like we were talking about Jared Wood, like he was another
Yeah.
Apple guy. We talk about it all the time, like the
Ah.
training we got for that job, I use every day of
Yes.
my fucking life.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's just how to deal with people. And
Yes.
then like, and I worked at Suburban Square, so I dealt with angry mainline people
Yes.
when their phone wasn't working.
I was at the
You know,
Devon.
like,
I was at the Devon and the Wynwood one the most.
oh, okay, yeah,
So like, you know, just dealing with the mainliners,
right.
you know, and like their very high expectations of like what things should be. And I was in the first I started, like I kind of climbed a small ladder of like working in the bakery department. And then I was sample lady. That's a fun job. Like
Yeah.
sample lady. So like after I graduated college, I became sample lady.
Temple.
Jewish grandmother, see what I'm saying? She
was
graduated
like, you
college and
wanna-
she's a lady
you wanna
immediately. I'm
try
a sample
some
lady.
cereal?
Yeah. Have
Come
some
over here.
cereal.
I'm gonna make you something good. Here's some cheese. And that's like, so I started there, and then I kind of fell into like the marketing department, and where I started making, where I used my art degree to make signs.
And you were still shooting at this time.
I started
yet?
shooting. So me and Karison actually were in college together.
And
Like,
Karison is
Karison-
the
yeah.
other,
Karison
your
is
other-
my lead, one of my lead associates.
Okay.
And she she went through Tyler just like I did, same year. And she was
I didn't know this actually.
really?
Yeah.
She also went through the photo program with me, and she started to shoot weddings in college. I was not.
So you've known Karison for like 12 plus years.
Oh, we've known each other for like
I did
so
not know
long.
you guys knew each
yeah.
other for
I
that
don't
long.
know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We've been together for a very long time.
Oh, wow.
And I started shooting my first wedding in 2013. I actually think I shot one of my first weddings was like my friend's sister's like little thing.
Wait, tell us about your first wedding experience.
I feel like I have 3 or 4 that like stick out. They were all great. Like they were all good.
Oh, that's great.
One of my first weddings was a same-sex couple that I worked with at Whole Foods,
Oh, wow.
and I charged I think $500 for it.
That's what I charged for my
And
first one.
yeah, and I still love these ladies to this day. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, I saw one of the photos like pop up in my memories, and I'm just like still so proud of it. That
Yeah.
like I get to shoot. Shout out to Heather and Karen. who like I saw.
Hey,
like,
we shout out people all the time,
Yeah.
so you're good.
Quick question, and not to get on a tangent. So you saw like one of those photos recently?
yeah,
that
it
you
just
took?
popped like in my Facebook feed.
What popped out at you about?
I still shoot in the same light that I loved it.
Really?
Like, yeah. Like it was like
You weren't like cringed looking at one of these old photos, like, oh my God, what was I doing?
the one that was posted was beautiful. They were just
Wow.
like holding hands. They were in a park. It was late afternoon. It was summer. It was backlit with sun, and it was like that glowy. And like I feel like I'm always looking for that light.
I wish I could say this about one of my stories.
The reason I said this because it's funny because we've been going through and like going back through our Instagram and stuff, and I've been seeing the stuff we shot when we were in our like infancy,
Yeah.
and like the style, the clothing styles are different. The edit is different.
But what's clothing? Like you're the couple's
Like
clothing?
the couple, like
Oh,
what they
okay,
were
okay.
wearing, but like how the shot feels is exactly the same.
Okay.
And I was like, and that was pretty
Like
cool.
the
Which
But it
editing
was full
different.
sepia,
which,
though.
Yeah.
which is why. Yeah.
We're not that old.
But no, like, and that's the hard part about like figuring out what photos to keep and what not. It's kind of like, well, this one, it still feels the same, but
Yeah.
like it looks nothing like how we edit now. So I'm like, okay, we'll get rid of that. But
Yeah. But like the things like, cause like I will be shooting and I will get so excited. Like I am the old Jewish lady, like artist who like, I'm like, oh, this is like so good. This is amazing.
And
Oh my
and
gosh.
I had
Like,
a second shot for you before, and you cracked me up.
yeah.
She's like,
Honestly, I think,
I'm
yeah.
excited. But I think oh my gosh, sorry.
She's getting excited already.
Yeah.
Look at
I'm
this.
excited right now. As an artist, I think it's so excited to maintain this joy as you go into a wedding day. And even if it's like, because like, how many times have you guys walked into a wedding and you're like, fuck, I don't want to be here.
Right.
Sorry, there's the child.
Which is great. I'm glad you just said that because today we kind of wanted to talk about like burnout in the
Yeah.
industry, the mental health aspects
Yeah.
of being a wedding photographer, which I don't think a lot of people highlight that much. So for someone that's been in the industry for close to 12 to 15 years, like how do photographers prevent burnout and how do they keep their mental health like active and healthy? Because it's definitely challenging.
Yeah. I mean, this is something I'm actively like working on and struggling with. And I think everyone should be actively working on. Like it's never going to be perfect. But I feel like as I'm getting older, like I'm including more and more like little changes in lifestyle choices that get me closer and closer to just like being happier with life.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to all happen at once, and it won't happen all at once. But I think like making active decisions and being like, I need to put myself as a priority first. Because if you don't take care of yourself as a human being with emotions and needs, with a body, with a family, like how are you going to serve your couples and your business? And you won't.
And
Like,
also, what's crazy to me, and I can speak on this, is that like I forget sometimes that because I have, my business partner is also my wife, and even though these days a lot of the photography business falls on my shoulders, it's still amazing to be able to have someone to kind of like, I am so stressed out, and like be able to talk to someone about it. And the best part is it's like a safety net in a way where I'm like, I can't do all these things at the same time. Can you just like respond to this email for me? Or can you just like a little thing that I'm like, I need to do this, but I can't right now.
But that's nice to have. But what happens when you don't have a partner and
That's
you're
what
like,
I'm saying.
and you're just living off of one income, right? And you're like, hey, I'm only charging, let's say, $4,000 for a wedding, and I need to at least have 40 to 50 to maintain a decent lifestyle, right?
And-
how do you
right.
prevent that burnout? Because I see many photographers deal with that, right?
Well,
Like,
I have a funny example of this too, which was I was my mental health was suffering because of the little red numbers over my Gmail app. And I would see them, and no matter what I was doing, I was like, I got to look at this. I got to respond to this. I got to respond to this.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I was sort of like, this is not healthy. Like there's points where I'm like checking my work email where like I should be, giving all of my attention to one of the kids, to Magda, whatever. So what I did was I set like, one of those Apple focus modes that between 9 to 5 on weekdays, I can see those notifications.
Yeah.
And
I
when
think
it's
that's
not-
great. Yeah.
Well, okay. So I thought it was great too. And then I told Magda, and she's like, that's awesome. But like, what happens if we get inquiries not during that time? And I'm like,
it's a balance. I mean,
it's a balance.
It's a balance.
But the other part of that is a sort of like,
it's so important too to also have office hours, right?
well, so like
that's another step too.
So I think the ultimate answer to this is that, you know, for what we do is that she responds to inquiries, but that is but generally that's a, you know, pretty like it is a copy and paste, like here's some galleries and stuff. And we personalize it because we obviously, you filled out an intake form that gives us a lot of information. We read that, you know, we make sure we understand what we're getting into, who you are, and that kind of stuff. And then it's sort of like a copy and paste thing. And it doesn't take a ton of time out of your day.
And it's cool because you have that perspective of working with a partner.
Right.
She has perspective of having a partner, but who's not really involved in her business.
Right.
And then
you're just someone a lonely asshole. Yeah.
Lonely, right.
But you know, like, I mean, I think every situation is going to have its stressors. Like I have a team, you know, I have a team of associates.
That's true.
And that's amazing. But then I have to manage them and delegate and make sure I have work for them to do as well. So like, that's a stress as well. Whereas like, sometimes like, I'm like, oh, I would love to be by myself because then I just have to manage myself, you know? But so like, there's always going to be pros and cons to every situation. Like while my partner, my husband does not work in the industry, he's also such an insightful person about having he has such wonderful balance, and like he's so good. Like I'll just like look at him and be like, I have to do X, Y, Z.
He just has his shit together, which I'm horribly jealous of. But
he's so good. He's wonderful. And like sometimes I'll just like look at him and be like, and he's like, no, you don't.
Ryan's so chill.
He's so chill.
So chill.
You know what's funny too is like I didn't know him that well, and I guess this year at the holiday party we finally like we like hung out.
I was like surprised he came.
He came. I was like, okay, cool.
But
like,
he was great. It was the perfect amount of people for him.
We're friends now. We're good.
He did wonderfully as like, because he isn't like a true introvert, and I feel like in this industry, like we get in, like I feel like that's also an interesting question. Like, are you guys introverts? Yeah. I feel like you're definitely,
I'm an introvert extrovert.
An ambivert, they call it.
Ambivert.
Right?
That's exactly what I am.
I always I
feel like
he's an extrovert.
Well, so you're gonna laugh at this, but I'm not. But
really?
I can fake it so well.
I don't know.
Right? I don't know about that, bro.
So here,
maybe you're in denial.
Honestly, where it comes from is
I
that
think it's how you recharge.
Well, when I feel uncomfortable, I talk more.
That is true.
And so people take that as he's an extrovert, which is really like.
But when you get excited too, you talk a lot too.
Right. It's more like when I'm an introvert that when I'm in an uncomfortable situation, I try to balance that out by talking more. And it's like, is there substance there? I don't know.
I see that. I think this industry has trained me so well to be to show that I can be extroverted. And I think you have to be, again, going back to like being joyful on a wedding day. Every wedding vendor needs to remember that this is usually their first wedding day.
Wedding professional.
Elite.
Elite guest.
Oh my God.
Yes. I love that. I love that.
And I like that. And now people keep coming up to me like elite wedding guests. I'm like, I didn't say that.
I mean, it is catchy though. I like it
too. But however, like I do feel like, so coming from Whole Foods Market, where like they drilled into our brains surprise and delight. Like that was like what, and I'm so glad.
Love that though.
Oh, surprise and delight? Yes, all the time, every day. That is what we should be doing.
I'm trying to remember all the Apple things now. What's the? Yeah, she doesn't remember.
Surprise and delight is no longer a Whole Foods thing now that Bezos.
Overcharge, under-deliver.
Bezos owns it. Because I was there pre-Bezos.
You mean whole paycheck?
I was there during whole paycheck, yeah. So it was like, I feel like it's gone through changes, and like I was there after they were publicly traded. So I'll do whatever.
Yeah. So as we're kind of like wrapping up this conversation, I want you to give the audience 3 things that they can kind of like tools they can use to help them prevent burnout.
So the biggest thing that we also need to remember too is like, at the core of this, like as a wedding vendor, wedding photographer, we are artists.
Yes.
And we need to feed our creative selves, whether that's, for me, I feel like it's diversifying what I do. Like if I were to just shoot photographs, and I don't know if this is for you guys, but if I were to shoot photographs like every day, all the time, I would go crazy.
Absolutely.
So I make sure that I am feeding. which I think that's amazing. It's like you can,
we'll talk about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think like I like to garden and I like to,
Different outlets.
Yeah, different outlets. I can't even think of what else I like to do. But like
You like to dance?
Finding
Dogs.
Dogs, right?
finding art in different things to it. Like
Ooh, I
being
love
an
that.
artist is like I can find art in movement. So like if you are working out, like that's, and
love
going
that.
into like working out and like your body, like this is a highly physical job and it will continue to be highly physical as we age. And we are all elder
Young.
millennials.
Young. I'm young. I'm a Gen Z.
Are you?
Yeah.
I thought you were
What?
48.
Bro, what are you talking about? I'm Gen Z.
All right, we're all Gen Zs, but
There we go.
But Gen Alpha's coming for us.
It's Gen Alphas.
Yeah.
What's
That's
that?
I think so. Is that Asher's?
Yeah, it's alpha.
What?
Mhm.
It's the skibbity toilet.
Oh
Oh
my
God, no, not skibbity toilet.
So they're coming they're next.
Yeah, yeah.
They're coming. We need to take care of our bodies
Yes.
because our bodies are going to take us through these wedding days that are
That's a fact.
12 to 14 hours long with long drives in the dark. And we just have to be like, you have to be strong. And as you get old, your muscles weaken.
Yeah.
That's a fact. Like that's not like a choice that like
Right.
people, so like you need to make sure you are taking time to honor your body, that you are prepared for your couples too and their days so you can show up as the best version of yourself.
Especially when you're our age and shooting 20-something-year-old couples who just have energy for days.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's important. And I think that takes time, like to say I am a priority, that I deserve to move my body for an hour every other day or something.
Mhm.
That takes a lot, especially as entrepreneurs, when we're like, we can work for 12 hours straight.
Yeah.
We're going to answer emails. We're going to edit 2 weddings in a day. We're going to do all these. It's not healthy at all. And when you start a business, you come at it with so much energy, but that energy is unsustainable.
100%.
And you have to figure out how to harness that energy so it has the longevity for you to take you through a long and happy career.
I agree.
Sleeping 8 hours a day. That's really important.
All right, you two childless wonders over here. Sleeping 8 hours a day.
I do have a border collie with
Right.
anxiety.
true.
We both have kids.
I have a border collie with anxiety
Simon's face.
who, when it begins to rain, will come and wake us up and
Exactly.
just yip at my side. I know that is, and again, that is
No,
having,
I'm not talking
having
shit.
children. Does
Simon's wife in the
throw-
background is going like, "Yeah, baby, go, baby, go, go, baby."
Having children does throw a complexity, but I think every like situation is going to be like.
Oh,
I also
yeah.
like had a grandma living with me for a little bit too.
Oh, that's
you
true.
know,
Yeah.
So,
And you have
like-
another business, right?
I'm just
Oh, I do have another business. Yeah.
the amount of lack of sleep we get these days from one of the 2 kids waking us up multiple times a night. It's just like,
Yeah,
I would love to sleep 8 hours a night.
I know.
But no, I agree, Haley. Those
Yeah,
are
But,
great
I mean, you're
points.
right. If you're
Yeah.
in a position that you can
Yeah.
actually get sleep,
Yeah.
like, hey, maybe like don't go out tonight and get some sleep.
Yes.
Exactly.
So you shot your first wedding, would you say 2013?
13, yeah.
I think we started like legitimately in probably 2015, 2016-ish. But 2 years is like 2 full wedding seasons is like a long time in the grand scheme of like the wedding thing. Like from when you started to what is going on now, what do you think like some of the biggest shifts have been in both like
Ooh, I like this.
the photography portion of it,
The trends.
Well, I
but
love
like
trends.
what couples are
I
into.
do. I was thinking about trends this morning.
Yeah, like it's. I don't want to necessarily like say trends, but like there. I mean, even from when we started shooting, there is a clear, massive difference from like the photos and the things that
Like expectations from
people
clients.
want
Yeah,
to what people are asking for now.
exactly.
What do you think is the biggest things?
The
that you've
biggest
noticed?
thing I see is, I think, especially like when you were first starting with me too, there was such a desire for perfection. And it this perfect light and the
Right.
creamy skin tones. Remember
Right.
that? Creamy skin tones.
Yeah.
And like just like editorial, whimsical, like it
How many buzzwords can we throw into this?
I know it felt like it was like that like ethereal kind of feel where it
Ethereal.
was perfection, like everything was perfect. And I still think like that's like a wedding day should have that perfect feel to it. But now I'm seeing this greater shift for like every single a lot of brides I speak to, they're like they crave an imperfection or a candidness, or they're saying that they
want that, right? Yeah, we were just talking about this.
They're saying they do.
The last episode we had just talked about this was, we both saw the same TikTok, which is like there was someone on there saying,
I think I saw this one.
Yeah. It was like, okay, so you all say you want a documentary wedding photographer, and then they show like a bunch of like
really
actual documentary photos, and it's just like, there's the bridesmaid in the back, like picking her nose or something, and then it was like, if you see these photos and these make you want a documentary photographer, every one of these is posed.
And I think as someone who has shot in that more editorial, I think it was very freeing for me to be like, like I love the imperfect parts of weddings. Like I love when the family member gets too drunk and like starts to like, or like when a groomsman rips his pants in the middle of, those are the memories that you will remember that stuff for the rest of your lives, and being like, remember when this like silly thing happened? Like those are the things that stand out in your mind when the things don't go correctly. And I think there should be a desire for that.
So there's been a huge shift, you're saying, from perfection to imperfection.
Yes.
Okay.
I think
I think there's always been a want for that though too. Like I think even the perfect ones, I want it to feel.
But they didn't know how to actually ask for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I found this cool like analogy, which is sort of like I find, and the way that Magda and I kind of shoot weddings is that like the photos that she takes are the ones that you're going to print out and put on your wall.
Yeah.
And the ones that I take are the ones you're going to get small prints of, put in a shoebox. So when your kids are older, like this is mommy and daddy's wedding.
Yeah.
It's a very different vibe. Both of them are awesome, I think.
Yeah.
One of my favorite photos from my parents' weddings. They're not divorced, but I love their wedding album so much. So much. Like I love it so much.
I feel like I've seen this album at your house.
You might have, yeah. Because they hired a great photographer. And that I feel like just recently I could be like, oh, my parents hired a really good photographer for 1981. There was one actually where they did the double exposure.
Oh, really?
Oh my gosh.
That's cool.
My parents' wedding too. They got married in the synagogue and the Catholic Church.
What?
Yes. Can you imagine being a guest?
Right.
Wait, am I putting the funny hat on, or am I kneeling at this one? I don't know which thing am I doing.
Oh my! Like I love that they did both, because they went to both like priest and rabbi, and they're like, "Can we do this?" And they were like, "No." Like you,
especially in the 80s,
right?
Like that. I've done weddings like that now, where they're both up there. Like it's which is pretty cool, but
which is so cool. Which I love.
Can you imagine like being in that time, seeing a double exposure from a photographer? You're probably looking
so
at
cool.
like, oh my god, this is the
feel
craziest thing ever.
So cool.
Was this 81?
81.
I feel like that was a little more commonplace because of film. Like film double exposure was super commonplace.
Actually,
where digital, it's like
so know, like it was more of, it wasn't shot in camera double exposed. It was like projected, kind of like how you do the burn and dodge method, but like you kind of like expose one half and then
you
have
no idea how many people I that do not get the funny part about us being the Dodge and Bird podcast. It's got to be
now. Oh, she just got it now.
I thought it was just like a cutesy
it's only us old people who
now you get it.
If you've worked, anyone who's worked in a dark room will get it, and anyone who hasn't will not.
Yeah, I get it.
But wait, so they hired this photographer, and like, would you look at those photos?
I love them. The photo I loved. It was my great aunt Pina, Zia Pina. Shout out Zia Pina.
She still left?
No, unfortunately. She was great though. She was like a heavy, like single Italian woman who looked like she was ancient when she was not. And she caught the bouquet, which I love that tradition. Like sometimes like I know I feel like, oh, that's so lame when they do the bouquet and garter, but like I kind of love when we do the bouquet and garter. Like, cause it's such
that's one of those traditions that I think is gonna come back.
I love it.
You think so?
I'm here for it.
In some way.
No way, bro.
I'm here for it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I love when kids like
Jewish grandmother, I'm telling you.
when
them kids.
Haley loves kids at weddings.
I love a crying baby.
Wait, did you see our last post?
I did. I love
Aunt says he loves the kids,
nothing more than when a baby loses their shit. And I just photograph the tears rolling down their face on the pretty light. And it's so perfect. And they're just like so sad. And like, again, I love that. Like the imperfections of a wedding.
Because it's real.
And
I mean, yeah, I
and
get from
like,
that point.
And I get that like mom is like, oh, they're so happy all the time and they're so not happy right now. And like this is not an accurate represent. But I love that. I don't know. I love like
Here's a
the
question.
juxtaposition of.
Do you think that came later in your career? Whereas like when you started off your first couple of years, it was like you want the pretty pictures, you want all that nice stuff.
Absolutely.
And then
it took a while for me to get there.
Because I feel like at some point, I don't want to say I got bored of it, but it was just like those
it was
things.
predictable.
But, right. And
Cookie cutter.
But it's only predictable to us because we do it all the time.
That's true. Because like these people, they don't have a beautiful photo of themselves in perfect light where everything looks perfect.
And I feel
they
like
don't have one. So that's our job.
I forget who said this to us really was that, yes, you're doing the same photos all the time, but couples are looking at those photos and imagining themselves in those photos. And that's what they want.
They want that.
You're doing the same photo a million times, but it's not a million times for them.
No.
I know it was my wife who said that. Thank you, Magda.
And I think that's absolutely true. And like even though like the want from everyone has shifted, I still shoot similarly to how I shot many years ago.
Which is on a Nikon. Well, we'll get into that.
Which is on a Nikon. Literally, I got a Nikon as my first camera and I just stuck with it.
All the way through.
Someone handed me a film Nikon camera and that was that.
That was it.
I'm not a gearhead either. So like we could talk about that, but
yeah, we'll talk about that.
I think, what were you talking about?
No, I think we were talking about how eventually at some point you take the pretty pictures so much and they're awesome, but you get bored and then you start getting drawn to the things that don't happen at every wedding. And then that becomes your focus as an artist. It's like, that's new and different. I'm going to take a picture of that.
Yeah.
And then I feel like that's where sort of I'm at this point is when you say we're trying to take more authentic pictures, which I think is a stupid word because every photo,
I like that word.
I feel like every photo is authentic in some way though.
That's true. That's a good point.
You know, if a couple is awkward in front of the camera, that's still authentic to them.
That's true.
They can look at that and be like, that was weird. You know,
no, that's true. That's true.
But you know, I think that side of things has sort of progressed from the perfect, which is what we were saying, to the imperfect, which is this only happened at my wedding. Yeah. This didn't happen at
I think
every
it's
wedding.
good to have a blend of both. You know, I think that's also why, and even though couples are saying, I want it to be completely candid, I want that documentary style, I want this, I want that. I think it's our jobs also as professionals to be like, what do you actually want? You know, and I think it's important for us to have the calls and like, cause like every once in a while people are like, we've had brides who are like, I don't want the family photos that you post on the walls.
Same.
Like they will legit say, I do not want that. To me, it's very rare that that person comes to me and they're like, post photos where I'm looking at the camera smiling with my mom or like I don't want that.
What do you think is like the one area of a wedding that most people do that the most people have said to you, we don't really care about that? Because for me, it's been like the getting ready stuff has been slowly working its way out.
That's been more common lately.
I've seen it now too, where it's just like, I don't want photos of me getting ready.
Same.
And I don't want to take photos of you getting ready either. But like, also, I will say, I want to photograph a bride getting into her dress for the first time. And I think that's really important. And usually that's about an hour before things really kick off. And so also, like not much is changing from my perspective.
No matter what you think it's going to be like.
Yeah.
I always feel like there is some sort of emotional moment.
It's when it all comes together.
Whether it be the bride seeing herself at her wedding in her wedding dress or whether it's a family member or something, there is something there every time. Because we always tell people with the whole first look debate, like our whole thing is, and I speak from experience, even if you do a first look, seeing your bride to be come down the aisle is such an emotional moment. No matter if you know what she's wearing or if you don't, you will still have that moment. And I feel like it's the same for getting in the dress. Like, I know you've worn it before when you tried it on, but like, this is different. You did a hair trial before, you did a makeup trial before, but to see it all together, ooh, that's a magical moment. And I want to be there to photograph it. Even if it's like, you're not an emotional person, the people you're with might find it, they might get goosebumps. They might get excited. I love also like all the hands that help you get into that dress. Like, just in a symbolic way, like all those people just like supporting you.
And these are things clients don't think about.
No, and I think that's such a powerful moment. And also, in the rare times I've shown up it's also a way for me to like get people out the door and be like, we got to go now. Like
Yeah.
I'm as wedding photographers, we're also there like making sure we stay on schedule, making sure like all that stuff.
Just talked about this.
If I'm not there to be like, no, we don't need to rush into the dress, or like, okay, we need to go now. If I just meet up with a couple, they will be half hour to an hour late.
Absolutely.
If I'm not with
Especially if
them
there's no
during
planner,
getting ready.
forget it.
Yeah. So I kind of insist on a wedding day that I am usually like for a typical standard wedding. Like I have to be there when you get into your dress. That's non.
Yeah. I feel like that's the part of like getting ready where like you really have to start no matter what they want before that. But I think that like it's cool to see like you've been doing this for how many years now? 12, 13?
This is my 12th year. Yeah.
12th year. How passionate you still are about it.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, is like a cool transition to another thing I wanted to bring up, which was WPPA.
Oh, hey.
So you're on the board of WPPA. And can you just give everyone like a brief synopsis of what WPPA is for those who don't know?
Yes. So WPPA stands for Wedding Industry Professional Association.
I thought it was of America.
Me too.
You know what? I could have it wrong. They just changed it because it used to be.
Really?
The I used to stand for international because we had an
I thought it
Ireland
was
chapter.
international.
The Ireland chapter is no longer with us.
Oh,
I don't know what happened.
RP Ireland.
So actually,
that chapter must have been fucking fun. All right, let's go.
I'm
joining that chapter.
There are many networking groups there's NACE. Sorry, all I'm thinking is NACE right now.
ILEA,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think they used to be called ISIS, but then
Really? What?
they had to change some
Rough,
things.
bro.
So like we've all like sort of like changed our names a lot, but like WPPA was around also before Caitlin from Fulton Events decided to like kickstart it back up.
And what's your role on the board there?
I am the director of membership. So it's me and then Amy Beam from Amy Beam Brides. She's a hairstylist. Me and her kind of like tag team taking on new members who are interested in joining.
Nice.
And what's
Here we go. This is the moment they've both been waiting for. This is it here.
So Simon is a member. Simon and Magda are both members of WPPA.
And I have to say, and I don't mean to shamelessly
here we
plug
go.
this.
Here we go.
I'm not about to talk to you. You can do whatever you want. Ant has not joined, I think, at this point, just to piss everyone off.
That's not true. Do you guys want to know why I haven't joined?
Yes. Tell me.
Okay. This is about to get a little deep.
Are you going to say what I think you're going to say, what I text you about when I was at the last event?
Wait, say it again?
Are you going to say what I think you're going to say, what I text you about when I was at the...
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
So, here's my thing. Now, I've already told Megan this. I've told other people that are in WPPA. And this is no shade to anyone in WPPA at all. Most of those people I've either know or friends with on Instagram or something. But to me, it feels like it's like turning into like, we talked about this earlier off pod, but it's turning into like the cool kids club, And it also feels like a lot of those people that are there will be friends with you while you're there, but then behind your back, they're going to talk a lot of shit. And then one more thing. And one more thing is I feel like there's such a lack of diversity at WPPA. And I don't mind being someone that can bring more diversity, but in the current state, it just feels like if I were to join, I would be that like token Black photographer. You know what I mean? That's a part of WPPA.
So I am going to answer this rather than having to put Haley on the spot here.
Okay.
Let's start with the first thing, which was...
And there's no shade to you, Haley.
No. And I
love you.
I think all of those concerns are completely legitimate concerns to have about anything people want
absolutely.
you to join. I got to say that I am one of those people, and you can ask my wife this. I am, especially after working at Apple, I fucking hate the drink the Kool-Aid club. I hate the MLM feeling. I hate the cool kids club, basically. Probably because I was never in it. I really don't like that. So when I joined WPPA, full transparency, it was, you guys throw a fucking great party. This amount of money is worth me getting to go to these events. Cool.
And that was literally that was it.
That was it. And
Right.
I was like, and I had no problem with it. I was like, this will be fun. And like, all of my friends were doing, or all my friends were doing it too. So it was
see?
like, cool.
There you go.
All my friends were on the board, and it was like, let's just do that. I have to tell you though, at these events, I have met and am now very good friends with some of not only the most talented people I've ever met, but some of the most like legitimately genuine people I've ever met in the industry, which I would never have met without that. So that
Is that true?
Yeah, 100. I would not be. Well, I would
But
not
look,
be.
but you know the power of social media, bro. You literally, if I wanted to work with Jose
via.
Via, I could find a way to reach out through him through socials. I feel
Sure,
like.
but what if I don't want to work with any of these people? I have no interest in working with them. I think what they do is awesome, and they're doing on their own. I just want to know.
But I'm saying if you wanted to be friends with them, you could also use social media as as leverage.
But how about all
Jose
the people?
Villa is not in WPPA.
Well,
But how
you know
about,
what I mean.
He's
but how
not a
about-
WPPA member.
How about all, how
So you're
about,
not meeting him at our events.
but how about all the people that are not even close to on that level who are just awesome people that I am now friends with? Like I'm
just trying to play devil's advocate to that point.
I know. I like
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
But
I know what
it's-
you're
it's-
saying though.
I met people that without being in the same room as them and without, I met someone at the event we were just at who was a photographer who there is no way we would have crossed paths in anywhere in life. And he is he went to Berkeley for percussion and I'm a drummer. And we talked for an hour about nothing involving weddings or anything. We were talking about, we had like the nerdiest shit ever. Like when your fulcrum's doing this, like, are you squeezing here? You squeeze. And it's just like, I'm meeting people on that level. So that's like number one, which is like, I am in the same room as people that I never would have crossed paths with. I never would have seen on social media that would never have gotten me there. And it's people that I talk to on social media now or text or hang out with like a lot. So it was like immediately like built-in friends almost.
Are you going to other networking events?
Yes.
Which networking events are you going to?
I've been to ILEA. I have been to a couple of NACE events.
Okay.
And just like,
I would say too, like probably the networking opportunities at those present the same benefits as being in WPPA. And I think, networking is going to be a huge part of it too. And you can attend events as a non-member as well. Like that is like also the joy of like.
But it is expensive as non-member.
It is expensive. You're also paying for, I think also for these tickets, we're putting on a higher production of events sometimes. Like not saying these aren't also high production events. Because WPPA is a nonprofit, like nobody's making money off of this. It is all going towards the vendors that are supporting this or the food or, like it goes all towards the event itself.
So my other big gripe too, and I talked to Mike from M2 and my biggest thing is from the outside looking in, I know that, WPPA is a what did you say?
It's nonprofit.
Nonprofits.
Yeah. Or like it's we're not making money off it. It's not for profit. Yeah.
Yeah. My biggest thing is what is WPPA doing for the community? Like what are they doing for underprivileged communities in Philadelphia, especially for people that are maybe interested in being photographers, right? Because we're in sort of this elite circle of photographers that all work together. Our prices are all similar. We all go to the same type of events. And it's like, what about that small person who maybe charges $500 for a wedding and can't afford to be a member at WPPA?
Because the networking opportunities are going to be similar to any other networking opportunity that you're going to have in Philadelphia. It's going to be similar. Like similar people are showing up to those things as well. However, the one thing that is really wonderful about WPPA too, there is an educational piece to every event, which I know that that might be true for other ones as well, but every quarterly event will have an education piece tied to it. So it's not just the mastermind event.
Right.
There will be an education portion to every quarterly event. So for just the most recent volunteering opportunities, a lot of our members and my team also volunteered for the Shine Bright event. And this is a prom for students with disabilities. And so WPPA was represented there and we helped donate our time to help this event happen. So that was just in February. In December, we did Portraits of Hope. And this was at the Helping Hands Rescue Mission on 6th Street in Philadelphia, North 6th Street. And we just gave free family photos to folks in need who didn't have the ability to get family photos done for Christmas. And a lot of WPPA members donated, if they were a photographer, they donated their talents to either help photograph or just to like manage the line of people that were offered this family session too.
Is it safe to say that this like community outreach and diversity has gotten better over the last year?
So
Or
our
has it always
board
been-
is we're such a baby.
Yeah.
Like we're a baby board.
Right.
You know, like we just started WPPA.
However, I will say that the amount of people that were here from other networks
Yeah.
and who were saying like, why do you guys have your shit together more than our board does? It's been around
And
forever.
the thing that makes it difficult too, you know, like this is a volunteer position. Nobody's getting paid. So like on top of us having families, running our businesses or multiple businesses or all of that, we are also creating this community for our fellow wedding vendors to come together for networking events that are going to be worth their time. Because time is precious and you can't go to every networking event. And so if you know you're going to go to an event and you know you're going to see some friends and you're going to meet some new people also, that's a win.
So I appreciate you telling me that. I think you opened my eyes a little bit to maybe something that I'm not privy to on a day-to-day basis. But I just feel as if there's still more that can be done.
Absolutely.
Right. And
Absolutely.
I just feel like having a program or an organization like that in the heart of Philadelphia, which is one of the most diverse cities in this country, it just feels like there should be more outreach. I know you guys are doing your best. You are, infants. Maybe I should come into the organization to give some more insight and to speak into voice.
I was gonna say that like it's really easy to look at an organization and say you're doing this wrong.
Yeah.
But you're in a position where you could, I know WPPA's always looking for
It's
that stuff.
as-
You're in a position that you could go in and do that
and voice
stuff.
that. Yeah.
As membership, being on the membership board too, I'm looking to my members and I'm voicing what they are telling me to the board to say, what do you want to see? Like, what events do you want to attend? What's important to you? We put out surveys, all the time.
I
to
love
be
those
like,
surveys.
yes. And we want everyone to be honest and open because we're
Oh, we are.
Magda, I always know. I feel like, well, you put your name on yours.
No, but
I put my name on mine too.
Good.
Mario, just come on to the.
Everything takes a while to get done in WPPA. Like nothing happens overnight. Like if someone has an idea, we need to get buy-in from the board. We need to get buy-in from a venue, from vendors, or like we need to get somebody to come. Like if someone's going to give an educational piece, they have to say, yes, I want to donate or give my time to speak with you guys on this topic too. So like we can go to Jose Villa and say, oh, come to Philadelphia and talk about. He'll say he'll say no. Like we don't have all the power in the world. We're just wedding vendors in Philadelphia trying to support and make our community better. And by no means will it be perfect because we are also just people.
Right.
But we hope that we're like making baby steps towards it and that people have a good time when they're networking too.
I think that if I were to sum up what I was trying to get out of this conversation about WPPA, I wanted more people to know about it, but I think I wanted more people to know about that for the same reason that I think, Aunt, you should be a part of this and voice your opinion on it, because I think the only way we grow is together. And the people that I have met in this organization, it's been such a like transformative thing for me.
Yeah.
Because, I talk all the time about our group chat, right? We have Haley's a member of the elusive group chat.
We're going on like 5 years now.
I know. But like,
congrats group chat.
but yeah, you know who you are. But like that, it's like, because sometimes I tell you stuff about like, oh, this is happening. You're like, what are you talking about? And it's like having that community of other like people in the industry, whether or not it's photographers or caterers or whatever, it's like, it is such like a relief to have that community and not feel like you're on your island. And like,
You know how I feel about this, because I still personally believe that the same people, again, maybe I'm talking shit, maybe I'm not, but
That's what we
Like
do
the Cool
here.
Kids Club.
it just still
So-
feels like the Cool Kids Club. And it feels like these same people that you're going to like chit chat with are the same people that would never like truly be your friend outside of that.
See, and to your point of Cool Kids Club is completely like that is a fabricated.
Of course.
Like that is a social
Construct.
idea,
Yeah.
construct that like someone's like, I'm not where these people are. And I used to have that thought too, of just like, oh my gosh, this person is above what I'm doing, or this person's doing bigger, better weddings that are more expensive, or they're getting paid. And like the reality is like most likely, like maybe, but like maybe not.
No, I think why my brain might be conditioned this way is because I grew up into this industry. Like I've had so many people help me out, from you to Simon,
Yeah.
to so many people
And
help me to
and you're
get
young here. You're
right to help me
technically,
get into this position. But I truly remember the same people that are a part of WPPA that are considered luxury photographers. I would reach out to them in the past, be like, hey, I'm a new photographer. I would love to come second shoot, to come third shoot, to come assist, to come learn from you. And they would leave me on red. They would never respond to me. They would never this and that. But now the fact that my weddings are featured in People, or the fact that my work has gotten better, I'm now considered as, okay, maybe I can talk to this person. Maybe he's actually good. Maybe I can give him the light of day. So it's like,
totally get that.
right. So it's like, to me in my head, it just feels fake. It doesn't feel authentic. The same person that I reached out to, that now I'm going to go to WPPA and try to be friends with you, when I reached out for your help years ago and you never even considered.
And I
talking
think
to me.
I think you have to look at it, and I'm not talking about WPPA specifically here. I think like when we're talking about like the Cool Kids Club in general, like
well,
it-
that's
it-
you're right.
it
Yeah,
also
exactly.
you get what you want to get out of it. And for me personally, like I am not going to these, when we're talking about just like the social aspect of it, I'm not going to these events like I want to be friends with this person because of their blah blah blah. I'm not trying to do this. Like the amount of people that I've met at these things that are just cool people that I still to this day
Oh, of
have
course.
no idea what they do.
Of course, there's gonna be
But,
cool
like,
people, bro. Of course,
right?
of
But
course.
like you have like you sort of have to like. I keep everybody at a distance. No matter who you are. I keep everybody at a distance.
Absolutely.
And but I still enjoy meeting people where you have that one conversation where you're like, oh, we're on the fucking same wavelength.
Yeah, you're
And
like
that's
you're like
not-
testing them out to see like where they're at.
And I
Yeah.
think that the long and the short of this, my favorite term, because we've done the long, is that like,
this episode is 3 hours long. By the
yeah,
way.
all of our guest episodes are. It's fine. I think that
Sorry, Haley. We didn't mean to like scare you away. From
No,
all
that's
this.
okay.
you become
I know.
the face of WPPA. No.
This is just it's just
The-
thoughts that I think have been
Because
brewing
what
in
is
my
so
head.
funny too, because like I'm obviously at most WPPA events because I'm on the board, so I have to attend. I help run them, put them on, just general support. What's so funny? Every single whether it's the board chatting or members chatting, your name always comes up at events. Like people are like, "Where's Ant? Where is he?" Because like you are such a face of the wedding community and our community, and you were just like not
And now that we're
expected
doing this
to be there.
podcast, when I go, it's real fucking annoying, bro.
I know, they're like, where's Aunt? Like, I heard it multiple times. Where's Aunt Paige? I just hear your name pop up all the time. And, I think, we're all like, why is he not a member yet?
No. Again, like I said, I think this conversation has been very enlightening, not only from you, but also from Simon, allowing me to kind of just reevaluate my thoughts and to understand that I realized that maybe there is a lack of diversity, but by me coming into an organization like that, I can be a voice. I can allow myself to kind of voice my opinions and my concerns.
Yeah.
And, like Simon also just mentioned, to still keep people at a distance, but, entertain and like hear people out. And I just, my mentality was just so stuck on feeling the lack of diversity. That was my mindset. But now,
I think you're also
Yeah.
going to find too, that feeling where, just because you're in the room with these people doesn't mean that these people have to be your best friend. Doesn't mean these people, a lot of people, it's their job. Of course they're passionate about it. Of course, but there's so many people. How many people do we meet as wedding vendors every weekend? And it's not possible to like have so many close connections with absolutely everybody, and we do our best, like as all of us can, you know, because there are people who are looking the same way up at you too now. There will always be I feel like some sort of change. Just like if I'm where that person's at and they can help me, but they're not helping me, you know, there's always going to be some of that. And what is so I mean, if you look at the membership, like, I mean, a lot of them are like my friends and I've known them for so long, but they are like, what they're doing like on just their own businesses for our wedding community, whether that's like making sure that like pricing is like fair and like good, and that they, you know, have good work ethic and that they're good to work, like all these like things, like a lot of these people are a part of the membership. And it is so wonderful. If you are a member and you are continuing to go to these members, you can make deeper connections with these people, because the first time you meet someone and they're like, oh my gosh, it's so good to meet you. Like, I might not give you the time of day because I only have so much like extrovertness that I can give someone. And but like,
only
it might
so much
be the
social
second,
battery left.
It might, yes, because social batteries die.
Yes,
like they
very
die.
quickly.
And like it could, you know, that if you get a sour feeling just from meeting someone, it could be that their social battery is dead.
Yeah.
And I feel like the older I get, the more I'm likely to be like, they're just having a bad day. You know, like you don't know what day they went through. You don't know what happened. And like usually 9 times out of 10, or even like 99 times out of 10, they mean nothing malicious towards you. Like nothing malicious.
Donald Sutherland. I met him on a bad day.
Yeah, and that's it. And maybe genuinely they are a terrible person. Yeah. But like that's the 1 out of 100. And I think people should give people the benefit of the doubt in that situation. And it's the second and the third and the fourth time as a member when you're showing up to these events, and so are the other members, that you can actually make greater connections with them. We'd be like, I'm going to sit with this person at lunch, or I'm going to sit with this person, make sure I like connect with this person at cocktail hour. There's a wonderful, I think it's coming out, a new ability where you can see the members who are actually attending which events. It's all new. Like
that's
WPPA
cool.
International or national is adding new features every day to make it easier for members to see who's actually going to be in attendance.
Oh, that's cool.
But it's only members.
Yeah.
So you have to be a member to show you, to have you be on the list.
Hey,
if you're a non-member, you just don't like, you're not on that.
I just want to say, I know this has been like I don't want to say talking shit, but we've like probably didn't intend getting this much into it, but like the board is doing such a fucking phenomenal job.
I was going to say, I wouldn't have wanted anyone else on this episode except you.
Oh, thank you. I feel like I'm like, I feel like I try to play Switzerland as like a child of divorced parents and like family who's hate each other. I'm just like,
ooh, that used to be me. And then I met my wife and now I don't.
Okay. I just like, I want everyone to be happy. Like I absolutely want to meet you where you're coming from and like say that your feelings are absolutely validated and you're happy. Like, but I also want to say like my board wants what's best for everybody and cares what our members want and wants to see it done. And we don't know unless someone says something to us or we don't know all, like if sometimes we don't know how to make it happen. And like the member has to help us too. We do have like an ambassador program too. I think we'd be more than like, I think you would earn an ambassador title like right away. Like you should be someone who is like working with the board, who's like, because like there's only so many board spots, but you can be closer with us, so you can be like on events and like helping with like that's perfect. So
I mean,
for you, I think you'd be great.
On that note,
I had every intention of ambushing you in this episode.
I know. On that note, thank you, Haley. We were gonna. I mean, should we still hop on topic?
Listen, this has been a very true life episode.
Yeah, I think we should.
And
end it here.
I think we need to talk
Where
some
are we gonna
shit.
go?
I think we need to talk some shit before we leave.
Oh, you still want to do it?
Oh, 100%. I'm going to do it.
Haley's scared. She's like, I don't know about this.
We are going to completely shift gears here for about 3 minutes before our time runs out here, or less. But my question to you is this.
Okay, so this is the hot button topic.
Oh, this is the hot button topic. But really, it's
a little spicy, but it's not. But it is.
And I feel bad because I'm about to talk about something.
Don't feel bad.
I just met their brand and like their
take another shot. You won't feel bad.
I have to parent after this. All right. So Ant and I we shoot Sony cameras and we also shoot Leica occasionally because we're stupid with our money.
Speak for yourself.
And then before that, I shot Canon. Most of our friends shoot Canon. So my question to you is, what is it like still being like a 40-something-year-old dad living in 1996 and shooting Nikon? And why are you doing that?
Can you tell I shoot an icon? Number one, can you tell I
Right.
shoot an icon?
No, well, so you
Well,
are.
here's the thing. You're one of one, Haley.
You are,
Alex Schoen shoots an icon.
But I
I
like Alex, but I could tell. I
Yeah.
could tell.
Chuck Areno shoots an icon.
Who's
I think
that?
you could tell too.
No, I'm kidding.
I know who you're talking about.
Can
you
you
could tell.
tell with me?
No, you can't tell.
I would go Canon with you.
I would think,
immediately,
yeah, I would think Canon.
Because you're a white blonde chick. I mean, that's sort of
No,
like,
that's not what I was gonna say. No, but the way you edit, you wouldn't be able to tell.
I was given a Nikon film camera as a high school student, and when I bought my first,
You like putting the lenses on backwards, is what you're
DSLR.
saying.
yeah, but it,
Did you know that?
Wait, what? It's
Yeah,
backwards?
When you
thread
attach a
differently.
Nikon lens, you turn it
They thread
counterclockwise to
differently, yeah.
put
I
it
didn't
on
know that.
camera. Yeah.
my
That's
whole
weird.
team shoots Nikon. John
Yeah,
shoots
why
Harrison
Nikon.
shoots Nikon?
Harrison used to be Canon.
I remember that.
She joined the Nikon,
She joined
the
the-
dad side.
I mean, that
The
doesn't
dad
make it
side.
any
You know
easier.
what? 1996, those wedding photos are in. They're looking at the Nancy
She's
Myers.
right there.
like,
She is right.
So it all, and that's where like trend. Everything is cyclical. Everything is cyclical.
It is.
Every single thing.
It is.
Trends. And that's why, like, if someone wants to entertain a trend,
When's
sure.
Pentax coming back?
It was in for a little bit. It
Yeah.
was in.
So, and like, honestly, I've always thought this way. I am not a gear person. I
Oh,
just
yes, I know.
Wait, how many Contact 645s have you broken?
That's
I
like,
remember that.
It is
I've broken
ridiculous.
at least 3.
Oh
because I
my
think you
god!
bought 2 from me.
One.
One, yes.
One.
Is that one still going
I
strong?
still had that one. I'm
Because
taking care of her.
I know how to buy them. That's why.
I'm taking care of her. Yes, I'm not a gear person. I just see a photo. If I see photos, like I'm like, how do I make how?
You and my wife are the same
How do I
person.
do that? I want that. Like
Yeah,
I want
I
that.
want that.
I want that look.
Yeah.
How does that happen? And I don't care if it's like the exact of what everyone's doing because like I feel like
Put your own twist.
and yeah.
And
but
and
also like so many people shoot Nikon.
and if you guys want the perfect example of how gear
See her
doesn't,
defending
how-
Nikon.
this is a perfect example
Nikon
of how
rep
hey,
me.
gear doesn't matter because Haley is shooting the worst brand on the planet and her photos are gorgeous. So
but that
and scene no. And
think
that
I like
light
to
just turned off. We're
Okay,
losing
well,
all of our
on that
batteries
note,
at this point. Hey, thank you so
yes.
much for coming
oh my
on.
gosh,
Thank you,
thanks for
Haley.
helping me. I hope I gave
You've learned about this podcast that it just sort of goes wherever it's going to go. And
we had
but
fun.
thank you. And I also have to thank Haley because we didn't even mention
yeah.
this. She brought us flowers. And
She
a
brought us
very
flowers,
nice
a beautiful candle, and some kombucha, and some beautiful treats from what is it?
Tout le jour.
Tout le jour. It was so
Gateway
If you
Shopping
need a
Center, let's
pastry
go.
and you're on the main line, they might be in the city. I just don't go off the western suburbs too much. If you need delicious pastries, go there.
Wait, Haley, what's your Instagram and all that stuff?
Instagram is Haley Richter Photo. My website is haleyrichterphoto.com. I did a small brand refresh. I didn't really like tell anyone, but it's all sort of like updated there.
Nice. Cool.
What else? Yeah.
All right. Wait, and you have
Thanks
an
for having
Airbnb,
me.
right?
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah,
If
let's.
y'all are looking to stay in the Cape May area, I do have an Airbnb. Me and my husband have been slowly sort of like putting our own spin on it and making it cozy and cute.
It is very cozy
and that's
cute
been a
looking.
fun creative out. Like also like as like being in the photography business for so long, it's fun to have like a different sector of business. Yeah. It's been wonderful to diversify like what I do every day.
Awesome.
So yeah, check that out. It's Casetta Fortuna on Instagram.
We'll put all the links to everything down below. And this was episode 15 featuring Haley. If you guys can go and follow us on TikTok, listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, leave a comment in the description or comment section down below.
There's a comment section.
Yeah, I know. It would mean a lot to us. On that note, Simon,
I got
good
nothing.
episode, bro.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.